I get to take the weekend off, chill, focus on my mental health a little bit. The new episode of Digimon won't do anything crazy. It's just a Volcamon Etamon episode. Wah, wah, wah. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Karn Wilds Out about Digimon Adventure 2020, the sporadic videos which I just make when I lose my mind. Warning, of course, full episode spoilers for the most recent episode of Digimon Adventure 2020, episode 43, but also the whole season. You have been warned, turn away now if you don't want spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Palmon digivolved into Ponchomon because she had Patamon inside her flowers. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about the fact that the Dim card was in this episode. Now, I'm pretty sure this doesn't set up the fact Pulsemon's going to show up in Digimon Adventure 2020. Pretty sure because of the delay with COVID, this episode would have aired the week the VB came out originally, and it was just a little bit of cross-promotion. The episode talking about, like, resonating your heart with, like, exercise and entertainment. It's a VB advert that happens to have the Dim card. I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I don't think everyone's going to get VB Digivices or anything. I was really confused whether it was the Dim card or the music that was making everyone act like an absolute fool this episode. Gabumon shedding his skin, Patamon boom bubbling and falling asleep, Gatomon turning full-on cat mode, and Palmon just growing a big floral arrangement out of her hair. And then to stop Patamon from flying away, she captures it, and I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. And this whole episode, Mimi's got these maracas? No, what are they called? Are they maracas? And I'm like, oh, okay, she's just having a silly time. It's a music-themed episode, that's fine. And then all at once, it became very obvious to me what was about to happen. I was like, oh, Palmon's trying super hard. Palmon's trying super hard? Maracas. Their data's being messed with. Oh, and then she digivolved to Ponchomon, which, like, makes a ton of sense, right? Because Ponchomon looks like Togemon, but with maracas and, like, a sombrero and stuff. And a poncho, obviously, hence the name. And I was like, hold on a minute. Palmon doesn't typically armor Digivolve. This isn't a Pegasusmon situation where Patamon has always been able to become Pegasusmon, they just ignored the Digimental. So I'm looking through the armor Digivolution chart, like, Palmon isn't even on here. Palmon has no, even in card games, recorded instances of armor Digivolution, and then I remembered, Patamon becomes Ponchomon with the Digi-Egg of Sincerity. So is this technically a DNA Digivolution into Ponchomon? Editing Karn here. Yeah, so I've rewatched the footage, and Patamon gets spat out of Palmon when she becomes Ponchomon. So it's not a DNA Digivolution by any means, but it is Palmon taking on Patamon's data partially. I am so frustrated with Digimon fans who constantly expect the lore of the shows to abide to stuff from 15 years ago, right? Just because 02 or Tamers or Frontier or Savers said something about the digital world or about a Digimon, no new season, unless it is a sequel, is beholden to that. If Adventure 2020 wants to say that Galamon poops his pants and screams out his mummy's name when he's scared, fine, that's what Galamon does. But there is almost like a level that we've reached with 2020 where they're just like, well, you want 02? You like 02? We don't give a fuck. Oh, you want us to explain how Patamon, Chewmon into Searchmon, and now Palmon with Patamon in her head into Ponchomon happens? It just does, fuckers. Now, it's kind of been demonstrated that the kids slash the Digivices just have the crests inside them, right? So that's how, like, they haven't bothered with tags and crests this time around. The crests are just always in the Digivices. They form a strong enough bond. The Digimon become ultimates, right? That's fine. But there is this, like, implication being set up because of last week with Chewmon becoming Searchmon, because it was just really into Izzy. It was like, Izzy, you're the fucking coolest, dude. I love you. You're the best. That set up that implication that was enough for Izzy's knowledge crest to make Chewmon become Searchmon. Now, in the continuity of Adventure, you might say, oh, well, they're just not armor Digimon. Except in the Digimon Encyclopedia for Pegasusmon, in the episodes, I'm not talking about the ones, you know, on the Digimon web, they refer to Pegasusmon as question mark, not champion or adult. So there is clearly something still being set as, like, this is different to a regular champion in this continuity. So bear in mind, this is also two back-to-back armor Digivolutions. Either they are slowly setting up the idea that messing with data and the sort of, like, trying, you know, purity in this case, or I guess you could also say sincerity, you know, triggering more Digimental crest power to go to Ponchomon mixed with the sound waves messing up Palmon's data, making Ponchomon, but I just don't know. And I don't know if Adventure 2020 cares. Searchmon from Tumon is crazy, but it's like whatever, you know, there's plenty of examples of just random Digimon becoming armor Digimon, and many armor Digimon serve as two different levels. They'll be armor, but they'll also just be champions or rookies or whatever. Can I also say that for a second, I thought Agumon was going to become Flamedramon this episode? With the flame coming out of his mouth, I was like, oh, the flame's gonna overheat and he's gonna become Flamedramon, maybe? Anyway, I don't know what this means. And here's a bigger galaxy brain take. Ponchomon is a new type of evolution. Because, like, bare minimum, you can interpret it as Ponchomon and Mimi's bond with a little bit of the sound waves from Volcamon and Etamon causing Digivolution. You can also interpret it as Palmon and Patamon with the crest of sincerity and the music and noise from Volcamon and Etamon. So it's a DNA sound armor evolution. Honestly, I like this idea. I like the less strict focus, like you have to do it like this, of Digivolution in Adventure 2020, because frankly, I'm sick of people making such like clear-cut distinctions. You can't call Omnimon a Jogress. It is a Jogress, first of all. I know it's also a fusion or whatever. It's literally a Jogress and V-Tamer. Digimon fandom gets so like obsessed with sticking to these boxes of like, this is this, and this is this, and this is this. And Adventure 2020 is just saying, yeah, a monkey shouted really loud, and now Palmon can become Ponchomon. And I love that, the idea of rewriting their data constantly. It's very in line with like the V-Pets and stuff, you know? Agumon becomes Greymon, but then he might de-Digivolve and then become Numemon, whatever it may be. Digimon World is another example of this happening. The Cyber Sleuth games, you go back and forward all the time, adding new things, getting new data, changing what they become. So I'm really okay with it, but I just don't know what they're trying to do. And that's an overall theme of the whole season, and we'll get into that when I do my actual like breakdowns of each arc. A one-off for Pegasusmon, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna think about this too deep. It kind of blew my mind, but I'm not gonna think about it too deep. They probably just wanted to do something a little bit fun because they're probably not doing 0-2. And then they did Searchmon, and I was like, okay, they didn't make a big thing of it, so you know, Chumon thinks he's super neat. He becomes Searchmon. And then this week happened, and I don't know anymore. I don't know where this is going. We're at episode 43 of potentially 66, if that one Toei Europe website is to be believed. It could be less. It could be like 53 episodes, could be 58. We don't know. No one knows. If you think you know, you're wrong. You don't, unless you work for Toei, obviously. And like, we're heading into Tamer's 15th anniversary celebrations, so all bets are off. The reboot could end, and that could just be it, right? They beat Millenniummon, you know, everyone becomes their megas, great. Or they could go, hey, remember when like we turned Patamon into Pegasusmon and Chumon into Searchmon, Palmon into Ponchomon? It turns out there's this incredible energy inside our Digivices, which is the only way to save the digital world. We have to release that energy, and that's when the Digimentals get created, right? And that sets up 0-2 remake. It's possible. It's entirely possible. Or just, you know, Tamer's OVA. I don't know what they're gonna do, man. If you think you know what they're gonna do, week after week they are proving that you do not know what the fuck they're gonna do. Also, you've got to consider how many other Armor Digimon have just showed up in the background of Adventure 2020. Mambomon, Togemogumon, and that's fine to me. That's not any indication of like Armor's confirmed, because a lot of Armor Digimon have been used throughout the franchise. Opossumon showed up in Adventure 2020, but Opossumon was also in Savers. Buchimon was in... No, Opossumon was also in Cross Wars, and I believe so was Buchimon. So like, that's no indication to me. But someone very clearly in the design team, bare minimum, likes Armor Digimon. I don't know, whenever stuff like this happens, I just feel like you guys are the people I need to talk to about it, because I just need to get it off my chest. Again, these are just unstructured rants of me just going, what the frick? But let me know down in the comments down below, do you think this means anything? What are your thoughts on the episode? Do you think this is setting up more Armor Digivolutions? I think it's almost guaranteed that we're going to see more of the main partner Digimon get different Digivolutions. We still don't have Metal Garurumon for Gabumon, even though there was that one episode that like totally set it up and they could have done it and then they just didn't. According to the Digivice 2020, that thing that's hiding in the background, we're getting Crest Garurumon at some point. But anyway, let me know down below your thoughts on this episode, the episodes in general. I am trying to think of ways to do 2020 content. My channel kind of hit a bit of success with Digimon content in the middle of the show, so I'm just kind of in this weird thing of like, should I just start talking about it from the beginning? I don't want to do weekly recaps or anything like that. Go check out the Digino if you want that kind kind of content. The Did You Know, I think, does the best, like, little miniature, like, whoa, this episode was crazy recaps, but I'm considering doing arcs, you know? Like, the first arc, the second arc, third arc, probably going by when the ED changes. By the way, the new ED is probably my favorite ED. It's so good. There's gonna be a regular video this week, and at some point in the following weeks, I am gonna do a part 2 of the Armor Digivolutions video, because hoo boy, have we got a lot to talk about with those, eh? But anyway, without further ado, let's get out of here and thank some channel members. Thank you to my Digi-Destined level channel members. With new Digi-Destined, Sad Uncle Callum, thank you so much, Callum. As well as Tippy, Crimson Dragon Slayer, and Anthony Bontomasi. My Tamer level channel members, you know the Tamers rock. We got John Hawkins, Mike McNulty, Theo Navarro, Reese Williams, and Carlos Gonzalez. Thank you guys so much. And of course, everyone in the Con Club. Remember, for just $1.99, you can join the Con Club and get exclusive early access to all my videos. Alright, I'll see you next time when we go digital.